Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Awale, we're a Côte d'Ivoire focused exploration company with a significant land package and really quite leveraged to significant gold discovery with what we've got on the ground. Currently we are drilling, we're actually doing 2,000 meters of diamond drilling. This is on the Farco prospect, which is actually on a massive shear zone that we've discovered, and it is a mineralized zone. It's early days still, but we're actually quite encouraged. Our disclaimer. So just as a pure investment summary, I mean, Côte d'Ivoire certainly is, from a West African Birimian greenstone belt, is a destination of choice now. Relatively underexplored. That graph on the left, 2014, Ivory Coast, approximately 10% of production. And really, you can see the lag, the exploration lag and hence one of the reasons why we actually went in there. We have a significant land package, 6 granted licenses at the moment of 2,300 odd square kilometers, with 6 strategic applications behind that, and we have a few other applications behind that. So when I talk about a significant land package, today, if you're trying to get into the Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire, actually you can pick up parcels, you have to deal with locals, and they're actually quite difficult to get hold of, and specifically trying to tie up a region. And what we've managed to do over the last 2 years, effectively, we have 3 focus areas: the Bonduku project, the Abunguru project, and the Odieni project. Our main focus is the Bonduku project, with the other 2 sort of as a pipeline that we're bringing up and hopefully developing some drill targets. Now these assets, they've come out of, we actually sold Mariana Resources last year. We sold it to Sandstorm. These assets, as well as our Argentinian assets, were actually sitting within Sandstorm as exploration assets. Sandstorm doesn't want exploration on their books, so we've actually spun them out. I run the exploration in Côte d'Ivoire, and Eric Roth, my COO from Mariana, he's actually running NDR, New Dimension, who actually have taken on the Argentinian assets with a specific focus there of high-grade gold. So just from a quick shareholding structure perspective, we have 29 odd million shares out in issue at the moment, a very tight structure. Some warrants, the main warrants are sitting from financing at 40 cents. And we have some employee options. Cash on hand sitting, we raised 3 million. So we listed in December 2017. We're sitting with 1.8 million now in the bank. We've been aggressively advancing our assets. We finished off a drill program December to January this year. And we actually commenced in May, we commenced the second drill program, the 2,000 meters that I spoke about, as well as a 15,000 meter auger program. Management and directors are significantly aligned with shareholders, 24%. And just in terms of technical committee, Eric is still on my technical committee. He's on the board as well. Neil Adzed is there as well on the technical committee. And Andrew Chubb is our COO on the ground. So we talk about Bonduku, and this is our major focus. That's 1,200 square kilometers. And essentially, what's happened here, we have artisanal miners all over our property, and we've done a systematic approach to our exploration, really sort of corroborating with their workings and coming up with what we see as an 80-kilometer mineralized trend. And those are the areas in the squares within that. The elongated shape there, the Awale shear, and you can see that shear zone specifically on the aeromag on the left-hand side there. So that's a 40-kilometer shear zone. Artisanals are working more on the 15 kilometers on the right-hand side, and we are seeing a shear zone straight up to the north, where we have a significant soil anomaly or stream sediment anomaly up there. And then on the project on the left, or the property on the left, we have a shear structure coming down there as well, where we actually have another significant soil geochem anomaly along there. So in terms of the 12,000 square kilometers, or 1,200 square kilometers, significant area, but 80 kilometers of known mineralized trend. And really we've been working, trying to actually narrow that down to drill targeting. So I talk about the, I don't know if I have a pointer. On the southernmost part of that Awale shear, we've got 4 blocks there with the green. So we've got the Farco, Elizabeth, and Bahile. And then further to the north, we have Casino and Nguan. But on the actual Awale shear, we actually then moved through significant, I suppose, corroborative geochem analysis and sampling, and we actually put a 10,000 meter auger program through, 600 meter spacing, coming inward to around 300 meters, and really giving us quite a nice defined anomaly there. We then did infill on that, so coming in 180 meters and 80 meters, and a distinct anomaly along that 6-kilometer trend, where with some particularly high PPB results coming through. As well as chip samples, we actually got some grab samples along that trend where there are workings, 30 grams, 29 grams, 23 grams. So a lot of gold certainly in this whole Awale shear zone. It's a 2-kilometer zone, a 2-kilometer wide zone, and as I say, 40 kilometers, of which 15 kilometers has been tested to date. So from those soil geochem analysis and results, we actually moved into some scout drilling on those particularly high results. And quite wide fences. I mean, you know, that's a 6.5 kilometer trend, 2.5 kilometers apart, and every single fence of ours has come up with mineralization. Pretty encouraging. Some of those would be quite exciting for some people, but for us, they're actually still not quite at an economic stage. I mean, our objective here is economic scale. We want multiple discoveries, economic scale. And we don't quite feel that we've actually hit something that we would be saying that, okay, we can actually try and build on as a resource type definition program. So the idea is what we've come in now is really trying to, so this is a typical cross-section of that on the Awale shear at Farco. And as you can see, the RC drilling that we've done, so we did 5,000 meters of RC drilling here. Not very deep, it's only about 60 meters, but we are seeing mineralization pretty much close to surface. What you can also notice there is that actually the depth was never tested because of that shallow drilling, and we've actually now followed up now with a diamond drilling program to actually better understand the geology and actually extend those. So we're actually busy from, say, hole 20 going underneath hole 19 now and really going to about 200 meters. So we're starting to test a bit of depth extension as well as actually understanding what the rocks have done. Further to the north, I mentioned Casino, so that's a high-grade pit that from the artisanal workings. There we've got significant grab samples, up to 500 grams per ton gold, probably averaging around, on the sample side, around 40 grams per ton. Two veins, which on surface certainly doesn't constitute what we would say is an economic discovery or an economic deposit. But we would be looking at multiple veins, or similar to, say, a Roxgold, actually an expanding vein system down below, and maybe a larger deposit down below. So with the RC, again, it was shallow here. So the idea is with a bit of diamond, we're actually going deeper and trying to actually see if we can maybe hit what the artisanals were mining and hopefully have some significant results. So where we stand today, as I mentioned, 2,000 meters of diamond drilling. So that's essentially on the Farco as well as Casino. And then 15,000 meters of auger extension. And that's along that Awale shear to the north. And that's really to define, we're hoping to define that mineralized trend on that shear zone actually continues and with multiple targets. So the idea is we'd have multiple targets. We're going into a wet season post this drilling where we'll actually take all our analysis, come up with a revised drilling program for the end of the year, and we're looking at probably around a 10 to 15,000 meter drill program in the last quarter of this year. To the south, we do have the two properties, the Abenguru, so that's what I was mentioning, a bit of a pipeline. That one property there, we have a great soil anomaly sitting on surface from previous work, around 6 kilometers squared, soil anomaly, gold soil geochem anomaly, as well as a 10-kilometer long structure with artisanal workings as well. So that's a target we're busy building up and effectively hoping to be able to get to drill-ready status as well by the end of the year. So this is typically what we're about, is really developing our targets, trying to bring them into some form of effectively a discovery, and we think that we're poised and leveraged for multiple discoveries in the system, and then essentially a resource definition going forward. And with continual news flow now going through for the next quarter, and then building up to a drill program at the end of the year. Thank you.